As I mentioned in the previous video, we start this speedrun from a save file that we make immediately after the introduction cutscene to the game. That's this save file here for me, but another thing to know as well is that we're playing on Tell Me a Story difficulty, which is this game's easy mode. As soon as we load in, we're going to want to move over to the other side of the room and use this keypad here, but I'm going to take this time to quickly talk about a keypad bug that's in this game. And that's when you try to use these keypads and you try and input the code too quickly, it's actually just going to fill in all of the numbers immediately for you, and it can be really annoying. So you want to hesitate with the keypads until you hear a beep. I'll show the bug off now by using, I'll try inputting a 0, which is the first number in this code, and you should hopefully see it fill in the 4 zeros for me at a speed that obviously I'm not doing. So you can see there's no way I put the 4 zeros in that quickly, and that's just because I was trying to put the number in too early. What you have to do is you have to wait for a beep as you interact with it, and then you can start putting in the code. That one there. It might be kind of quiet, I don't know whether that's very clear. If you hear that beep, that's when you can start putting in the code. And the code to this is 0451. And now I'm going to start talking about the most important movement mechanic in this game, and that's sprint jumping. As you might expect, sprinting in this game is the fastest movement, but more importantly, if you jump while sprinting, you maintain your sprinting speed, but can still regenerate your stamina. And so we take advantage of that to move at sprinting speed pretty much the entire time. Unfortunately, the first place this is relevant is the Prologue, and you can't see your stamina bar in the Prologue, so it's kind of hard to showcase, but I'm still going to have to explain it here because it's very important. I will probably talk about it very briefly in another video, in the video after this when we can see our stamina bar, but I still have to go into detail here. So if I start sprinting from the elevator, you'll see that I run out of stamina roughly here, and we want to keep moving at sprinting speed. So once we reach this point, we're going to want to jump, and just before we land, we're going to want to start sprinting again and then jump immediately. And you just do that time, like, repeatedly, so run out of stamina, and then shift jump, shift jump, shift jump, and you can see that I'm moving at sprinting speed the entire time. So I'm sprinting from the elevator, I reach this point, I jump, and then I just keep sprint jumping until I get over here. And that means you can move at top speed. It's very, very important that you practice this because we use it absolutely everywhere. Getting the rhythm down is kind of awkward at first, but as soon as you've done it for a little while, it becomes very, very easy. And now we're going to want to grab this fire extinguisher. I recommend that when you're grabbing fire extinguishers, you do it from directly in front of them. If you grab them from the side, it can be very easy to drop them because the container that it's in, this thing right here, actually does have collision. And that can mean that you drop it involuntarily a lot. So you want to grab this, crouch under here, and we want to aim for roughly the sofa leg and the table, and we're going to throw it over there. What can happen here is the fire extinguisher can break when it hits the end, and it can also get stuck under the sofa if you aim too far to the left. If that does happen, there's a backup fire extinguisher here, or you can just restart the run, seeing as we're so early in the game. But yeah, just grab the fire extinguisher and move yourself into this little corner on the table and next to the sofa leg. The aligning for this clip, the first clip in the game, is really not very precise. You just want to make sure that you're not aiming straight forward, just slightly to the left, and a good guide is the hairline on this magazine. And then we're going to step forward, and as we're stepping back, just before we hit the wall, we're going to release the fire extinguisher, and it should push us through. So you can see there, and now I land on this side of the wall. So carry on sprinting. This wall actually doesn't exist, just sprint over the chair and straight through it. If you don't know exactly when you're going to run out of stamina, just sprint until your gun steadies, and then just start tapping shift and jumping. Just jump up this cactus through the door. If you're slightly slow, the door will close on you, but that's okay. It doesn't take very long to open it. And jump up around here, and we're going to go through the vent. On easier difficulty, these guys should not bother you at all. They might hit me 1 or 2 times, but they're not going to kill me. Well, they didn't hit me at all there, but either way, they're not going to kill you there. And I'm going to try and showcase the second clip here. This clip is very much not necessary, and I would never advise resetting for this clip. Not a single person does. But if you align the fire extinguisher so that the hose is on the left side of it when you pick it up, for this clip that's actually very important. And set it up so that the fire extinguisher base is over the top of the light. You can step forward, step backwards, try and do the clip the same as before, and you can push yourself through this wall. This clip would save about 11 seconds, as it skips having to wait for this guy to open the door for you, which he's done for me here. So you might as well try for it while you're waiting. I'll try one more time, just because I can. But yeah, it's a very, very awkward clip, and is very, very rare. So if you don't get it, just wait for this guy to open the door, and we're going to want to sprint over there and leave. But one thing I'm going to explain before I hit a trigger, which is about here, is that when we're jumping over this fence, we want to not be sprinting while we're jumping over it. Otherwise the guys down at the bottom will notice us as we enter the room, and then they'll kill us. Even on easy difficulty, they'll definitely kill us there, because there are about 4 of them. So we're going to want to sprint until we hit the fence, and that will kill our sprinting speed, and then we jump over it and run round. And then we're just going to run all the way to the end of the prologue, so you'll see that here. Hit the fence, jump over it, and then we can just keep our sprint jump up the entire way through. And that's the end of the prologue. I will continue this tutorial in the next video, so I'll see you there.